Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Good. Just good? Oh, come on. You got to be better than good. We got to be great today, right? How about it? Are we great? Are we great? All right. Okay, so look, I've been talking you guys up to Coach Reed and Nikki and been telling them what a wonderful group of female student athletes that we have here at Thompson, okay? National Girls and Women in Sports Day. What does it mean? It means we get a chance to celebrate our opportunities that we have in sport. In this room, we have all different sports represented. We have people that do multiple sports here. We have people that do single sports here. We have people that are in broadcasting, okay? Women in sports is not just about playing a sport. There are so many opportunities for you. So today, I haven't honestly been able to sleep for about 2 days because of these two extraordinary women that we have here today for you to have an opportunity to hear their journey and their stories, okay? And I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to say, sit back, relax, soak it up, try to take something from each one of their presentations today. Our first speaker, oh, well, go ahead, you can do that, yeah. Thank you, all right. Our first speaker is Nikki Gant. Let's give Nikki a hand. Nikki was a standout softball player at the University of Kentucky, where she earned multiple All-SEC and All-Region honors while setting several school records in batting average, hits, and stolen bases. She was a consistent offensive leader for her teams and a key defensive player throughout her career for the Wildcats. The Fairfield High School graduate also excelled beyond the softball diamond. She was named to the All-SEC Academic Honor Roll and was inducted into the Frank G. Ham Society of Character. Following graduation from UK, she married Edgar Gant, and they had 2 children, who most of you know, Nathan and Charlie, both who attended or are still attending Thompson. She coached collegiately at Transylvania College and also at Birmingham Southern College. Currently, she has started her own business. She is giving softball lessons and mentoring a lot of the young athletes in our local communities. In addition to her career and her family, Nikki is heavily involved in her church and actively participates in various church missions, dedicating her time to faith and community service. Nikki's legacy is defined by her on-field excellence, her leadership, and her dedication to both sport and faith through coaching, mentorship, and her career work. So without further ado, Nikki Gant.
Sorry, guys. So number one, I'm going to say this is not my thing. This makes me very, very nervous to come up here and speak to you guys. I can speak to a team all day, but as far as speaking to a group of people, even when I'm at church, I still shake. My voice shakes. And so I have to say thank you to Judy for asking me to do this, because when she called me, she said, hey, I want you to do this. And I thought, I'm honored. And she said, great. And she proceeded to tell me her plan. In my head, I was going, that didn't mean yes. But as I listened to her and the Holy Spirit, I heard, what would you make Charlie do? For those of you that know Charlie, she's absolutely an introvert. And I have made her do lots of things in her life. And this would have been probably one of them, because I know that there's grace there and God is there. And so you heard that I'm married to Edgar Gant. I met him in college. He would be here in the back taking pictures. Those of you know He takes lots of pictures, and so he's not very happy that he's not here. And Nathan, who is at Mobile playing soccer, and then Charlie. So in a nutshell, they are my life with the Lord. But before them, it was all about me, all about me. And so as she asked me to speak about this, I want to start by telling you where I came from. So if for those of you that don't know, I'm from California, and I'm from Northern California, a little town called Suisun, tucked between San Francisco and Sacramento, right outside of Napa Valley. There's also Travis Air Force Base right in our backyard. And so why that's important is because here we have trains, there we had planes. Now, they didn't stop the traffic, but they were very loud. But I want you to know that because of those things, the demographic in which we lived was very diverse. Very similar to here as far as how many people go to this school and all walks of life. And with that, I didn't realize how many people I would come in contact with that would change my life and show me and mold me into the athlete I would become. I got to be around the most amazing people, big kids, that showed me and gave me an aspiration to be who I would become today. I had a dream, a goal. And so my dad sat me down and he said, "You're gonna go to college on an athletic scholarship." And I said, okay. I bought into what he said. So I learned very quickly, just do what he wanted to do, because that's how I would get better. I wanted to be the best I could so I could go to college. So that leads me to my first point. What are your goals? Do you have a vision board? Why are you playing this sport that you play? Not everyone is going to get to go to college and play. Between 4 and 21% of high school female athletes go to play on. So if you're not playing for that, why are you playing? What's your motivation? Many times it's to have fun or play for your friends, maybe just to get away. It doesn't matter what your goal is. What matters is that you have a reason for playing. You play to the best of your ability because you care. If you don't care, it shows. So I come from a pretty athletic family. So at a young age, I started in gymnastics. My aunt was the teacher. So I spent a lot of time in the gym. And then I started playing softball. And of course, my dad and my grandfather were all excited. I have lots of pictures of me with a big old glove and big cleats and a little Buddha belly sticking out. But when they signed me up, on my application, they lied and said I was 9. I was only 8. That year, I made the all-star team, and they were pissed because I shouldn't have been playing. I took somebody's spot. That began a long history of fighting for my parents, for what they believed was right for me. My dad would tell me, just go out there and do what you do. And so I would do exactly that. I would go out and make him proud, because I knew he was on the other side fighting for me. So the second point I have is to thank your parents when you get home today. I know this is not the case for everyone, but for the majority of you, your parents who have taken care of paying for you to play, taking on lessons, buying your equipment. Some of you have like thousands of dollars. You're walking around with stuff, right? And you need to tell them thank you. They just wanted the best for you. This is where you learn discipline and priorities. They made sacrifices for you, so your sacrifice is to play for them. That's one. So if you want to be good, you have to put in the extra practice, just like school. You have to study to get good grades, so you have to practice to be good at your sport. So I also loved basketball. For some of you, you know that's my love. My first love was basketball. Since the age of 9, I was in the high school basketball gym. My uncle was the coach. My dad was an assistant coach. And so at 9 years old, I got to watch 16 and 18-year-olds play basketball. And so I was around fantastic girls. Our high school was very good. One of those players, her name was Karima Wallace. She's actually the reason why I wear number 4. She was short, like me. She was fast, like me. She was a leader on the court. I wanted to be just like her. Watching someone who looked like me lead a team on the court was inspiring. Being a leader comes in many different ways. You can be a quiet leader and lead by example. You can be a verbal leader where you're the encourager or the cheerleader. You can also be a natural-born leader, meaning God gave you the gift that people follow you. If you have that gift, you need to recognize it, and you need to use it well. Leading people to bad things is not leading well. Leading people to gossip is not leading well. Leading people to bad-mouth teammates or coaches is not leading well. When you have the gift of leadership, it is an honor, and you should treat it as such. Hopefully you find yourself somewhere in one of those categories. If not, you should ask yourself, how can I contribute? Because each one of these can be on the same team. They can lead in different ways and work together for a common goal. That was Karima and her teammates to me, and I wanted it. So going back to basketball, as I played in elementary school, I was a good size. I wasn't too short, wasn't too tall. I was good at both basketball and softball. I knew it, the boys knew it. Everything was good. And I had the softball team, we did an AAU team, everything was going great, and then I turned 12. I came back to school, and everyone was taller than me. Wait, what happened? Now, for those of you that know, this is how tall I was, and this is how tall I've been. So when you figure out that you're not going to be tall like her, it's kind of a letdown, right? I wanted to be tall. Side note, I did marry tall. And for those of you that don't know, Nathan is 6'5". So, the Lord agreed with me in that, which was nice. But my third point is resilience. When you face the adversity, which while that seemed really small for some of you, for me, who I loved basketball and wanted to go to college and play basketball, those dreams went from this to this, right? And so what was I going to do? Was I going to cry about it? Was I going to complain? Was I going to quit? Or was I going to figure it out? Was I going to problem solve? Many of us have been handed answers, either from our parents, our coaches, our teammates, but how bad do you want it? Just because I was short wasn't going to stop me, at least for now. So I refused to let the height stop me. I had to be faster, smarter, tougher than my competition. And so I became what the guy at the newspaper called the little general. I commanded the court, and I was good at it. But I did not pursue basketball like I did softball, which is kind of crazy to think about it now because that was my passion, so I thought. During my 4 years of changing teams for softball, the adversity I faced was crazy. I had one girl attack me and my character because she thought I was trying to steal her position. I had coaches try to make me play an outfield position because I was little and I was fast. They put me in the same box that the world tries to put you in. But my parents and I were determined to see it through. I was going to college to play second base, not outfield. Being resilient and persistent to follow through with your goals means finding a team that allowed me to play where I wanted to go. Basketball took a back seat, and the only reason I did some travel during high school, I got to play against some greats like Diana Taurasi and Carrie Walsh-Jennings. For those of you that don't know them, Diana played at UConn and went on to win a bunch of Olympic things as well, or medals, as well as competitive. And then Carrie Walsh-Jennings was a basketball player that went beach volleyball. She almost dunked on us, by the way. Just to name a few. And I probably could have gone to a small school and played basketball, but my eyes were set on a big D1, and the only way I was going to do that was through softball, so I thought. So at 14, I played at the Trimmers Gold. Back then, gold meant the elite team, okay, the best of the best. Everyone who would play gold is going to a big D1. So boy, was I a baby at 14. But I had been around older people my entire life. By the time I was 9, I was in the gym. So did I know how to work? Yeah, I did. And I knew that what it took to be on the field. I had to succeed on the field so I could show that I was supposed to be there. And just a side note, like I said, I was 14. That's actually where the University of Kentucky saw me first. I was playing in the outfield. Because of course, where's the baby supposed to play? Out in the outfield. Because I was playing on a team where the girls were going to Georgia Tech and to Cal and to Notre Dame. But again, I want you to hear me say, I was 14, and that was the first time my school saw me play. I heard Nick Saban say this, your thoughts, your habits, and your priorities determine your choices. These are what form who you are. It takes a certain amount of discipline to do what you're supposed to do and when you're supposed to do it. Just like when I was younger, my dad used to say, let's go practice. And so it was time for me to do what I was taught. I set up a softball net in the garage, and I had a basketball goal out in the driveway. People used to drive by. We lived right at a stop sign. So people would stop at the stop sign and they would honk. And I took it as encouragement. Keep up the good work is what I would tell myself. I no longer needed someone to tell me to practice. I knew that was how I was going to be successful. Discipline and persistence would make me confident. Discipline and persistence are life lessons. That's when you put into practice your everyday life and your sport as well to help you be successful. One of the things that I know about this generation is hard work is not in many of you guys' vocabulary. I'm going to let that sink in. Hard work is not in many of your vocabularies. Because hard work is getting up when you don't want to. Hard work is doing something when no one else is watching. Hard work is giving it everything you've got because you care about the effort in which you put in. Sports will help you get there if you listen. Obviously, I got my wish and I received my scholarship. I was going from California to Kentucky. That was a big jump. Was I ready? I was also only 17, and I was going 3,000 miles away from home. I was going to need a support staff. I was going to need my teammates because they would become my family. Are your teammates your family? Do you treat them like family? I spent a lot of time with them. You spend a lot of time with yours. I needed some adults. Mine would be our CATS Center. It was Center for Academic and Tutorial Services. That was where our counselors were, our athletic academic counselors. Those people were our lifeline. They were our parents, they were our sisters, they were our brothers. They guided us. They told us when we were doing something wrong. They also encouraged us to date each other, which would be one of the reasons why me and my husband got together. But those people were important to me. Playing sports has its ups and downs. I learned being a good teammate comes when you buy into what is good for the team. Many times we don't have good coaches. They don't know what they're talking about. Some of them aren't what we expected. But when you and your teammates come together for one common goal, you're unstoppable. One of my coaches used to tell us, take care of yourself. And I was like, wait, this is a team sport. What do you mean, take care of yourself? And at the time, I didn't know what it meant. As an adult, I get it. If I do what I'm supposed to do, practice on my own, learning more about my position, other people's position, it leads to sharing in the responsibilities in a team atmosphere. Being a good teammate is being a good friend. It's being there for one another. It's being a cheerleader when they need it, being a voice of reason when they struggle, and getting in their butt when they need it. It's being respectful to each other and to your coaches. It's the same in college. You got good ones and you got bad ones. Regardless, we learn how to do your best regardless of the outcome when it's hard. It builds character. When you guys struggle now, it builds character. It taught me to never give up. You learn perseverance and courage. I learned that if I want to be great, I need to work hard at practicing with a purpose. I learned that when things are hard mentally, that it's okay to go speak to somebody. Taking anxiety medicine is okay when it's necessary. There's so many things that I cannot control, and I had to learn how to let it go and give it to someone. That someone was the Lord. After all of this, I found my why. He was there the entire time. I was playing for the one and only God of the universe, the one who saved me from my sins and can save you too. The relief I felt by knowing that to be successful was no longer a must, but just to do my best for my audience of one was enough. It was still hard, but freeing to know I knew at the end of the day, my best was enough for him. So, who are you is more important than what you do. My entire life was about sports. I played and I let them define me. I was good and I knew it, and that was who I was. But he sought me, and I finally took my eyes off of myself long enough to see that he was there the entire time, knowing that my life's purpose is to share Jesus' love for you and me. As I come to a close, because I really should have closed with Jesus, I almost forgot to mention that God has given me this opportunity to teach young girls how to play softball, how to encourage them to have confidence. Confidence comes when we are successful, which is why most of us play. But what about when we're not successful? How do we work through that? Well, first, knowing who I am. Second, what I do doesn't define me. And third, positivity is the great equalizer. Seeing yourself through his lens, God's lens, is always better than using my own thoughts. He reminds us that we are his. He reminds us that we are called to love him with all our hearts, all our mind, and all our soul, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And he reminds us he will make our path straight. Thank you.
We do something in our volleyball program every day before we start an activity or a game or practice, and it's called a 9 clap, okay? So before we move on, Ada, stand up, okay? Ada is the leader of the 9 clap. She's going to give you the finger, and then she's going to say 9 clap on 3, and you are going to clap 9 times, and you're going to stop after the 9th one. Oh, we got to do it again, Ada. Come on, they're not on your ship yet. Let's go. Come on, girl. Stop on 9. Better, okay? We still have a straggler somewhere right here in the corner, but hey, let's give Nikki another big hand, okay? Thank you for sharing not only your career and your sports journey, but also about your faith, okay? It's a total package, all right? Sometimes people come into your life and you don't know why. I'm sure you have those moments. Back in 2016, I had the opportunity to meet Coach Rashinda Reed when we both were working at UAB. Our offices were right across the carpet from one another. And I knew Rashinda from her playing career at Georgia because her Georgia volleyball team one Friday evening in the cave at Alabama managed to beat my team, and in one set beat my team 44-42. And I never forget that because I thought, well, if we're going to play this long, we might as well win. Well, the Bulldogs prevailed that night in 5, actually. Actually, at that point in time, it was the longest volleyball match in the history of Division I volleyball, thanks to that set. But I had the privilege of meeting Rashinda, and now it is absolutely astonishingly remarkable to have her leading the University of Alabama volleyball program. Rashinda was named the head volleyball coach at the University of Alabama on December 20th, 2021. As the first black female head coach of the program, she was and still is eager to set the example of excellence in all aspects of her program. She is a native of Fairbanks, Alaska. I said that correctly. Fairbanks, Alaska, where she played high school sports. After graduation, she attended Southwestern Oregon Community College and then transferred to the University of Georgia, where she finished her career. Following her career as a Bulldog, she played professional women's volleyball in Europe. She played in Finland. She played in Spain. She played in Holland. And she played in Austria. She then decided to go to the dark side, and she moved into coaching. Her coaching career started at the University of Southern Indiana. From there, she went on to coach at Binghamton University and Northeastern University. And in 2016, she was the assistant at UAB. And after 1 year, she became the assistant coach at the University of Illinois for 5 seasons. And now she is the leader of the Crimson Tide. She is married to David Halligan, and the couple have an adorable son named Lucas. It is my privilege to present to you the head volleyball coach from the University of Alabama, Rashinda Reed.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you so much for making me feel special. It's interesting, this is real full circle. Coach Green and I talked about that match that we had in the cave. That was, I didn't realize it was 42 I didn't realize the score. I just knew it was in the 40s and it was a lot. And she thought it was a lot, but I was like, is this gonna be over? When is this gonna end? And I'm so happy that we won. Sorry, I'm happy that we did. I'm a competitor. So, when Coach Green asked me to speak, I asked her, what do you want me to talk about? And she was like, I want you to talk about how sport has had an impact on your life and your career. And I was like, that's my entire life. I can go anywhere with that. And so, I can sit there and give you a laundry list of all the things that sport has done for me. But that's not fun. We're not doing that. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you my story, okay? Now, although, yes, I coach. Yes, I did come to the dark side. But I was not an athlete. I'm still named one of the most uncoordinated athletes that people have ever met. And I'm like, I own that. Thank you so much. But when I moved to a small town, my dad was like, you need to make friends. And so I want you to play basketball. So kind of similar to Nikki, it was basketball. And so I had never played basketball before. I didn't know anything about it. But I was like, all right. And so when I went there, it was uncomfortable for me. I was meeting new people I didn't know, and I was playing a sport I never played, and I had to try out. Of course, it's uncomfortable. I've never played it. But, I made the team, and we had our first game. And I remember I had all the nice shoes, I had my shorts on. I was ready to go. And I went out there and played. And you know how that game went? Terribly. I was horrible. I was really, really bad. But you know what? It didn't matter because it woke up something inside of my body. I realized that I was a competitor, a fierce competitor. And I really liked being able to play in a team sport with somebody else. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to play all the sports except for one. Do you know what that one sport was? Volleyball. How did that happen? So here I am, playing all the things. I'm in high school. We did not have club. That's not a thing, not in Alaska. And so this teacher, the cool teacher, everyone loved this teacher, Mr. Leslie. And he comes up to me and he's like, Rashinda, I would love for you to play volleyball. And I was like, thank you, Mr. Leslie, for coming up and asking me to play volleyball. But you will never catch me in a pair of spandex. No, thank you. No, that is not happening. And so he looks at me and he's like, you know what? If you don't play, I will not talk to you. And I'm like, you can't do that. You're a teacher. You're supposed to talk to me. That's your job. And I didn't play volleyball. And you know what he did? He didn't talk to me. I would walk in the hallway, and our school was almost as big as this school. Okay, and here's a fun teacher. Everyone's like, hey, Mr. Leslie, hey. And here I am, and I'm like, Mr. Leslie, hey, hey. And he sees me, and he turns around and walks the other way. And I'm just like, this is real. Oh, he's really not talking to me. And of course, when you're a freshman and your teacher's not talking to you, you feel some kind of way about it. So you know what I did next year? I played volleyball. And so you have varsity, you have JV, and then in my school, you had the C team. So here I am again, stepping in uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. I've never played volleyball before. I didn't want to wear spandex. Here I am, trying out for something I didn't know and I didn't want to do. And this man was like, come on, play. So when I did it, guess where I went on? The C team. And I'm sitting here like, Mr. Leslie, you wanted me to play, and here I am playing, and you put me on the C team? I don't understand. But you know what I learned? Was that I have to earn it. Nothing's ever going to be given to me. So then I was like, okay, sir, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove that I belong here, even though I didn't want to play it. And I wanted to be the best at it. So I worked my way. I was like, you know what? I don't care what it is. I'm going to be where my feet are. And I worked my way up. Within that season, I worked my way up to varsity, from C team to JV to varsity. And that was it. I was hooked. I was like, what's this basketball stuff? What's this basketball business? I'm doing volleyball, which made my dad very sad because he's a basketball player. And honestly, although I'd never left Alaska, my dream was to play at UCLA, which I had never been on that campus before. But in my brain, I was going to go to UCLA. I was going to be the first female basketball player playing in the NBA. I don't know where this came from, guys. I don't know where it was, but that's exactly what I was going to do. And here I am saying, like, no to all those things, and I was playing volleyball. And so it's important for me to talk about volleyball because I know we're talking about sport, but volleyball is what shaped my entire life, the sport that I didn't want to do. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to step in uncomfortable. But have you ever fantasized about something? You're like, this is what I want. And you close your eyes and you know it, and everything's perfect. Like everything is just like amazing. So what I thought about when I was going to college was, I'm going to be in this big arena. It's going to be full of people. I'm wearing the best things. I crush the ball explodes. It is just a most amazing situation. And it's like, that is my everyday experience in college. Was that my experience? It was not. That was not what it was. Before I went to University of Georgia, I was at a small school in Coos Bay, Oregon, because I was late. I didn't know I wanted to go to college until later. So I went to a small JUCO. The gym was smaller than this space, right here. Tiny. Okay? And I walked in and I was like, I am better than this. I do not belong here. I belong somewhere great. This is not what I envisioned. And I was mad. But then I was like, you know what? I also knew that drive that I had inside of me when I played basketball the first time, I'm going to be great at it. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to give it all that I have. I'm going to earn it. I'm going to make this the best it could possibly be. I'm going to be where my feet are and just love it. And I did. I worked my tail off, and that was great. That was very good. I ended up being a Hall of Famer there, but that wasn't what it was about. What it was about was me making the friends that I made understanding that there was a drive inside of me that if I were to set my mind to something, I was going to do great things. I didn't know what those things were, but I knew it was going to be great. So I was like, all right. And with these people that I met, they pushed me. These are people that are still my friends to this day. And they're like, Rashinda, you have more things in you. Keep going. And that's where I ended up at the University of Georgia. And I'm sitting here like, I've made it. This is what I fantasize about right here. I'm in an arena. I'm playing with some of the best players ever. And this is awesome. And I was just happy to be there. And I remember all these girls, although they were better than me, I was like, okay, I did it. And then I was like, no, I'm not just going to be here. I'm not just going to just be in this place and not be great at it. So although these girls were better than me, and it was hard, again, I'm stepping into uncomfortable again. These girls were crushing balls. The game was so fast. I was so behind. But I was like, you know what? I earned the right to be here because I worked my tail off, which I learned from Mr. Leslie at the C-Team. And I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I got after it. And I didn't care about anybody else other than just getting after it. And once I made the team, I was like, oh, I'm playing. I did it. I'm playing. And my coach did a really nice job of filling up that gym. So I had a crowd. I was like, yes. But I was like, I didn't want to play. I wanted to be freaking great. I wanted to get after. I wanted to be the best because I still had that drive inside of me. So then I pushed, and I did. And I became one of the best defenders at Georgia until this year. Sophie Fisher beat me out. I'm mad about it. I actually sent a text message to the coach, and I was like, Tom, I can't believe it. You tell Sophie I'm proud of her, but I'm still mad that I'm now number 2 and she's number 1. But it didn't matter. It's not her story. It's my story that I'm sharing with you today. Okay? And so from there, I was like, all right, I've done it. I've done everything. I've really accomplished it. Sport has taught me so many lessons. I can be in uncomfortable situations. I persevere. I'm relentless. I have drive. I have all these things. And sport has taught me I can walk into a space and talk to anybody. And so I was done. I was ready to go into the workforce. And there's a stranger, I can't even remember her name, comes up to me and she's like, hey, have you ever thought about playing overseas? And I was like, no, ma'am. These feet belong on American soil. We don't go anywhere else but right here. And so she's like, you're missing out. And I'm like, ooh, I felt like that was almost like a challenge. Like, you need to go pursue this. So, of course, what do you do when someone talks to you about big decisions? You talk to someone that you care about, your parents. So I talked to my mom. And I was like, Mom, I'm really thinking about playing overseas. And you know what she said? She said, no, ma'am. American soil, it's dangerous over there. You're not going there. And so my dad snatched that phone out of her hands, and she said, Rashinda, you don't have a home here. You need to get on a plane, and you need to go have experiences elsewhere. And I'm like, well, okay. Well, my dad just told me I need to leave, and I don't have a place to stay. So then I'm like, well, I've already stepped in uncomfortable. I've been doing it for my career. So I'm like, might as well go to a place I can't even pronounce and go see what this is about. And so when I went there, it wasn't about volleyball anymore. It was about, oh my gosh, there's a world that I don't even know. I could even imagine. I was doing things that I can't even fathom. I was eating food I never thought I would put in my mouth. And I'm not joking. There's something, it's like raw meat, something we can't even talk about it. But I did it. And it was good. But the thing is, it was all about those experiences that sport was giving me. And I remember going to this place. I was actually traveling with gypsies. I mean, what? Volleyball got me to travel with some gypsies? I'm in the middle of this place, and it was mud roads, probably as wide as this, okay? And people were living in grass huts. And I'm like, what is happening? How am I here right now? I'm seeing people sleeping in grass huts. There are people just following me. I was walking, and all you, just imagine, just me by myself, just walking, and just a whole bunch of people following me. Just following me. And I'm like, what is going on? And I remember I turned around. This is when we didn't have phones like you guys have right now. It's a digital camera. I had one of those. And I turned around, and I had to take a picture of it because this was crazy. And I remember someone took their child and held that child up in the air like this as I took a picture. And I was like, why are they doing that? And my friend was like, they just want to say that their child was in a photo, in a picture. Not to have the picture, not to see the picture, just to be in it. And for me, I was like, gratitude. I am so grateful for these experiences I've had. These people had nothing, but they were so happy. And I am sitting here like, I'm here because I play a sport and I am in their world and they're allowing me to be in it. And this is wild. I never thought that this would ever happen to me. And here I am. This is crazy. And I met, again, some of the best people. I was having some of the most amazing experiences that shaped my life. And I was like, thank you, volleyball. I don't think there's anything else you can give me because this is wild. And then, of course, like Coach Green said, I entered the dark side, came back, and I started coaching. And I was like, okay, this is great. We're doing it. I love it. You know, that's all. Well, excuse me, before that, my last stop was Finland. So the order of where I played was I played in Austria first, Spain, Holland, which was probably the best. I played with some of the most amazing athletes, Olympians, and I was like, I felt so honored. And I was like, let's play one more year, one more time. And I played in Finland, and Finland was terrible. I hated it there. It was literally the worst place ever. But much like my experience in Oregon, I was like, I'm going to be where my feet are. And I'm going to enjoy this experience because I know that I can gain something amazing out of that. And I met this person named Chris Thomas. And when you're in a different country, it's almost like meeting someone on steroids. You only have that one moment, and you might never see him again. And that's how I looked at it. Hey, how are you? You're American, I'm American. I love that we could talk, and I don't have to speak broken English with you, and I understand everything you're saying. This is awesome. And I met his wife, and they were talking about, their fiance, and talking about their wedding that they were going to do. And I was like, yes, I wish you all the best of luck in your life. See you later. Or maybe see you never. And then I started coaching. And I was in Indiana, and I was recruiting, and I was like, I know that guy. I know him. And it was Chris. And I was like, oh my gosh, welcome to this country. I cannot believe we're here. And in that moment, we talked about our experience from playing to coaching, and we became best friends for 9 years. Chris went on to win a national championship with Nebraska. Just his career blew up, and I was like celebrating my friend, like, this is awesome. You are crushing it. And one day he got a head coaching job, and he's like, Rashinda, I want you to come with me. Now, mind you, although it's not up there, I was a head coach for 3 months. This many months. 3. Okay, and that's why it's not up there, because it was only this many months. Okay, and the reason being was when I was in Michigan, Chris was like, hey, Rashinda, I would love for you to work with me. And you know what I said? Absolutely not. I cannot do that because I just took this job and I can't go with you. And he's like, you must. We're best friends and we've been talking about this for years. And so therefore I did it. And we had the best career. We went to Sweet 16, Final Fours, Elite Eights. We were crushing it. And I was like, that's it. Thank you, sport. Thank you, volleyball. I'm living my best life. We're putting in roots. I literally said it. As soon as I thought it and I said it, I was like, that's it. We're staying right here. I'm not going anywhere. Guess who calls? Alabama. And the AD was like, hey, Rashinda, I would love for you to come to Alabama. And you know what I said? No, thank you. I appreciate it, but I can't go there because I'm here with my friends and my family. I'm about to have a baby, and I can't do that. And they're like, no. I want you to come here, and I want you to see it. And so you know what I did? I went there, and I was like, this is nice. I'm not coming here. Oh, look at this. This facility is beautiful. I'm not coming here. I was like, that conversation was amazing. Not coming here. And I said that the entire time. And I remember getting home and talking to my husband. I'm like, why am I not coming here? Why am I not coming to this place? And then I think about all the things and then I came here. And the whole point of the story was sport has shaped my entire life. I had so many experiences with sport. I learned about myself. I learned that I'm a baddie. Is that what you guys say? Baddies? Is that what you do? Okay. I'm a baddie. I figured out I can talk to anybody. I was able to walk in the room with my shoulders back. I was able to be in uncomfortable situations, having hard conversations, celebrating people, being a great teammate, seeing the world. That's what sport did for me. Not just my story. Now you guys are in sport, and it doesn't matter, even if you were to play that one season. I played basketball that one time, and I learned that I was a competitor from that one time. So even if I never played anything after that, I learned that with sport. My story is my story, and it's unique. And because of that, I'm also here to talk to you. I was able to shape minds in different places, but also be able to share my story. And who's to say that not one of you are going to be up here, maybe not this particular stage, but a stage sharing your story. You don't know that. But let me tell you, it does have an impact on our lives. And you don't know what that's going to be, but it does. So I just wanted to share that with you. And maybe one day I'll be able to hear from you. Maybe I'll know your story. Who's to say I won't see you at the grocery store? Who's to say I wouldn't be at a softball game or a volleyball game? And you come up to me and share your story. But I just wanted to be here and let you know that sport did a lot for me. It shaped my life, and I owe it everything. So thank you for allowing me to share that story with you, and thank you for Coach Green for allowing me to be here. So.
How about one more big hand for Rashinda and Nikki, okay? I don't want you to ever forget that as a female athlete, that you can't be confident, that you can't be empowering, that you can't be competitive in all aspects of your life. Your sport teaches you that. I watch a lot of you on a daily basis. I watch how you walk. I watch how you interact with your teammates, not just my sport, but your sport. And I see so many great players that are on the precipice of extraordinary greatness. But it's so difficult to push that last door down because it's hard. I'm going to leave you with this thought. You can do hard things. You will do hard things in your life. Don't quit. Keep pushing. Thank you for being so attentive today and wonderful. Dr. Hester, thank you for letting us have this moment today.